Hi, welcome to The Wired
and Rewired podcast all about the hit HBO series, The Wire.
I'm Chris, and this is my 1,000th time watching The Wire.
And this is Ellie. It's my first.
If you're new to the Force or a longtime veteran, we think you'll find something here to enjoy, though apparently not today.
Not today.
We'll talk about that later. But as always, we begin by popping a recap of Season 5, Episode 7, Took. An unexpected call puts Templeton back in the spotlight and gets McNulty more attention than he expected. Bunk bucks at Landsman when ordered to help with the Force's most recent red ball. Omar sends Marlowe a message. Carcetti proves he's still an adept fundraiser. Carver gift wraps a witness for Bunk. Bubbles shows a reporter the ropes. Freeman tries to crack a clock code. Greggs prepares for a visit from her son. Michael has a close call. Hayes can't shake his suspicions about Templeton. Assisted by the top drawer lawyer Billy Murphy, Cash and Carrie Davis makes his day in court a memorable one. The episode is written by Richard Price. This is, I don't know, man. Nah, it's got to be at least his fifth or sixth writing, and it was directed by Dominic West, who plays McNulty. So, just as a quick note there, at the end of season 3, Dominic West was feeling somewhat burned out. Okay. So, in season 4, you might recall that he did not have much of a presence, and so he was actually living, kind of commuting back and forth in London, where his daughter lives, and so that's why you didn't see him very much. So they only had him for a few days, I guess, for the entire season. But in order to bring him back for season 5, one of his conditions was that he got to direct, and so he got to direct this episode. Okay. And interestingly, my understanding is that when you are directing an episode, you tend not to be that visible in the episode itself, because Dominic West explained that you're kind of imagining the scene playing out, but then you also have to act in the scene, which are two very different skills. Mm-hmm. So he is in this episode quite a lot and also directed it. So that is kind of interesting. So anyway, a little note about that. But back to our scheduled programming. The episode premiered on February 17th, 2008. Okay, I think that's everything. I did the whole preamble just to finish with the date, which is not a great button. So, Ellie, why don't you save this episode by busting out that epigraph?
They don't teach it in law school, said by Ronnie Perlman.
They do not teach how to podcast in law school.
They don't.
That is true, yeah.
Or any school.
Poor Ronnie. I don't know. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Plenty to discuss, but before we get into the episode itself, let us take a look at your predictions. Yeah, well, okay, so I'm just looking at these. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
I mean, it was all, okay, so we had a couple of carryovers, so you did have Davis is going to give up some names, so obviously he did not do that.
No, he didn't.
No, so did not do that. Dookie is going to go find Prez. Didn't see anything about that yet, so we'll keep that out there.
Okay.
But the Days did not give up any names is definitely a no. So sorry about that.
Doesn't need to.
And then they'll start to figure out the fuzziness on the wiretap. So we did. Oh, you had that one last time already. Okay. Yeah. So they saw that, now they're just but now they don't exactly.
Got clocks.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all we know.
Templeton will come up with another story. No, not really. I mean,
he doesn't have to.
Yeah, you're on the right track.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't need to. His story is blowing up for him.
Yeah, but also, I mean, actually, I'm going to give you credit for this, because Gus's whole discussion, as we talked about, I felt like
that's true. He's blowing up his story a little bit, right? He's making it seem like it's more than it is.
Yes,
like
exactly.
He's lived on the streets when he really hasn't.
Yeah. So I'm giving you. I mean, you're still on it.
Okay. I'm on it.
I mean, Templeton sucks.
He sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
He sucks.
Bubbles with his sister. So we did see Bubbles in this episode, and I can't wait to talk about that. But nothing with his sister yet. Omar's going to kill one of them. Got that right on the money. So
he did.
In fact, he killed 2.
Yeah.
So
not characters I anticipated, but still.
Yep.
All right.
Mm-hmm. And then Bunk is going to find Partlow's DNA, but he is looking at Bug's dad.
He's looking at Bug's dad.
Not yet.
He just can't get the lab to do anything.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And then, let's see, you had that. Sorry, did we say this one? I'm trying to think of, I have this line. Well, Templeton would make up more shit about the serial killer. You didn't do it this time. That way he was actually in the story.
Right.
And then you said we'll get closer on the photo thing, which, we said they were. So, and then finally they will try Davis, and you said we'll give him a plea deal. So Obviously, he did not do that. So
No.
Yeah.
No.
So just which I don't want to give you 2 no's because I feel like we gave you. We said no on the other one.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, same one. So
okay.
Otherwise, references, no commentary this time. Or no, I'm sorry, I take that completely back. There was commentary from Dominic West as well to talk about his directorial debut, and Kate Sanford, who was one of the editors. So I'll sprinkle a little bit of that in when we are going through the episode. But otherwise, unless there's anything else.
No.
Do you want to give your initial thoughts, or you want to just get to it when you get to it?
There's just so many parts of this that are so hard to watch. There are things I love in it. I love the Kima storyline. I love the Bubble storyline. Yeah. But man, the rest of it just pisses me off.
All right.
Okay.
Yep. No, I'm with you.
Right from the start, I have the storyline, the Balmy Biter. Ship his ass to the trial board for bunk. So Long Savino, what feels true? This is with the Baltimore Sun.
Yeah.
The incredible Clay Davis. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. That made me mad.
Yeah.
And then Mama Kima. We're going to finish there. Finish on a high note.
Sounds good. All right. Perfect.
So let's start with the Balmy Biter.
Okay.
Okay. McNulty, Freeman, and Sidner have cooked up a more elaborate plan to keep their fake serial killer story going. They've decided to have Templeton get a call from this killer, and McNulty is going to pretend to be the guy. So Freeman has helped to set it up. He has written out a script for McNulty, and McNulty's doing it in a very thick Baltimore accent, as they say it. And he tells him he's got to, stick to the script. They've got a voice modulator, and it's a go ahead. And so McNulty does the call. He acts really annoyed about how the papers are framing these murders as sexual. He says, where do you get off? You sick little twist. He says it's biting. It's not sex. And he says that he's done leaving the bodies around. Going forward, he'll just send the pictures of the victims by phone. Templeton is freaked out because now the phone call is real. And so here's the thing. I was a little confused because the calls are being traced or tapped at the Baltimore Sun. I thought that they weren't doing that before. I thought that Judge Phelan was like, we're not going to do that. I don't want to tap the phones at the Baltimore Sun.
So my thought, or my understanding, because I agree with you, is I think that they spoofed the call to call from the payphone that Scott originally called from.
Okay.
And that's what picked up the call to, and that's the number that was dialed.
That at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Because that's the one they know that they could tap that one.
That one in particular. That's the one and they had Holly watching that.
Yes, exactly.
Number. Okay.
Yeah. And I think that's why when he says later that they were just sitting there with nothing, that because nobody's using that particular payphone.
Okay.
And so they're not seeing any numbers go out. And so when he finally sees this one go out.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Got it. Okay, so he tells them he's just going to send pictures of the victims by phone, and he does. It's the picture of the guy that McNulty basically abducted and took to a shelter, Larry. So the plan ends up working, and now we have the police brass and we have the bosses at the newspaper taking the story and treating it as this huge deal. We have, instantly we have Foxtrot go to the location that Sidner is, and they are just taking people all over the place.
Yeah.
Just checking for cell phones. It's very scary. And, now we have promises of full resources to chase down this serial killer. And it's exactly what McNulty wanted.
Yep. Yeah, so just a note about that. About the harbor scene.
Yeah.
So, because there's a lot to cover.
Lot,
so yes, but just the conversation itself while McNulty's on the phone. So did you know that they were in the utility closet? Was that clear?
No, I did not realize
that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that was the utility closet that they were in.
Yes,
Okay.
and
yeah.
which is right next to the tap room.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. Okay, so
Yes.
because I don't think I got that either until I was listening to the commentary.
Okay.
And then you're like, and then you realize that they're, they do a shot.
I
where
mean,
they,
it makes sense. They're in there.
Yes,
it's dark.
exactly,
They're whispering.
exactly.
Why would they do that if they were just at that building?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
of
Exactly.
course,
Exactly
yes.
right. So that part was pretty funny that they're doing the call, from inside the house kind of thing.
God.
So that was funny. And then Sidnor, just to comment on Sidnor, so starts the scene where he's just standing there, and then after the call, he's standing there, kind of very like. I'm not sure what the word, not proudly, but, certainly like making himself as big as possible
Right.
with his police badge. And then as people are getting handcuffed and detained, he's like looking around like, what have we done?
Oh, yeah,
So,
exactly.
just
Like,
a pretty
oh,
funny
shit,
turn.
now here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then the woman police officer who first kind of appears on the scene and starts saying, go out and take names, and then tackles a guy. She was actually an actual cop, and she was the spokeswoman for the Baltimore Police Department. So it was funny.
Oh,
that they-
really?
yeah.
Oh, my
So-
God.
And then, so that was it. The Scott Templeton line, that was him
Yes.
again.
Yes. Again.
So you got that.
Yes. The pause.
I know the pause.
hesitation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so the actor's name is Tom McCarthy, which he sells that perfectly. Like that
Yeah.
pause was just perfectly
Yes.
timed. So you just don't do that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. Okay, yeah, but it's a kind of a crazy scene, and I was just trying to imagine like you're in the harbor and you're just walking around and the police come up to you and say, "Hey, stop there." You're like, what are you talking? Like that first guy that got tackled, I'd be like, wait, I'm just walking here. Like, what's the
Yep.
deal? And so anyway,
Yep.
yeah, quite a little scene though.
It
so,
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I like the way, that Templeton just kind of sits back in the chair, he just looks like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I can't believe this happened to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so Freeman starts working on intercepting these images using his illegal wiretap that he has on Stanfield's phone. But instead of anything obvious, all he gets are these photos of clock faces showing different times. They're different clock faces. They're not even the same clock face. So it's some kind of a code. And Freeman realizes that he needs to get some more surveillance because he needs to see what are Stanfield's people doing? Where are they going after they get these messages? This is tricky. I cannot even, I was like, what the heck could this be? No clue. I love it though. This I do like. I like this little puzzle here.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go to McNulty. He, of course, he knows all of this is fake, right? So he's got all these resources at his disposal. So now he's going to start redirecting them. That was the whole plan in the beginning. So he takes the surveillance team over to Freeman's real investigation while using this extra manpower to help other detectives do actual police work, especially giving them some of the overdue overtime that they need, which is great. It feels like a win. Cases are starting to move again, but word starts getting out that he is doing this. So we see him first at the top of the parking structure, and there's a guy, I don't know what his name is.
That is Christensen.
Yes, exactly. And it's funny because we saw McNulty at the top of this parking structure himself kicking a car that was not working not that long ago. And he sees this guy and he's, asking like, hey, what's going on? And he says, he's got this guy and, he does not mind watching him overnight. But the problem is the guy lives in a place that has multiple exits and he just needs a couple other guys to watch those other exits. And he says, I have more people than I need. How about I send a couple your way? Really? Oh my God, that would be awesome. Okay, great.
It's fucked up. It's all fucked up, okay? I can make a red go to black except for these cheap motherfuckers.
Well, what do you got?
Good snitch put the finger on an eyeball wit been ducking me. He lays up at this one girl's place at Athol Avenue, right? Comes in late, but he leaves early.
So?
So I don't mind sitting on the place all night long and not get paid, but it's a garden apartment. parking lots on both sides. And if he decides to park on the street and walk across the grass, he still has the fucking patio doors.
2 more men do it?
Yeah, and 2 more cars, yeah.
I got more bodies than I can use on my cereal thing. Let me make a call. Hook you up with 2 tack guys. You tell them you're sitting on a 20 that I gave you. I'll write up the hours under my file.
And you can do that.
Go with God.
Okay, then later, and tell me if you need me to
No.
stop. Okay.
Well, actually, sorry. Just
Yes.
a note about that. So in the intent of the scene. Sorry. Just to back up a little bit more. When McNulty gets sent back to homicide and he's super pissed off, Christensen was the guy who he kicked out of his desk, which I just thought was kind of a funny thing. So
Oh my
that's
God.
just water under the bridge.
That is the same person.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the intent when they were on the rooftop was there's a church in the background.
Okay.
And so Dominic West was saying that he was trying to get the church to be framed so that when he does the cross sign, it's a little bit more clear, but it wasn't. It just looks like kind of a blurry spire.
Okay.
So that was part of it. But
Yeah.
But yeah, so now you kind of see this first
Yeah.
step, and this is kind of what McNulty had envisioned the whole time, right? And it started off this way, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, it's so full circle.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so then we have Norris coming to him, and he's got this old. Oh, actually, so before this even happens, like we've got Landsman bugging him constantly about, hey, they want to know what you're doing about this, and what take some men to go do this, and are you going to go check out all of the shelters, right? Take some people to go check out all the shelters, and he's like, okay, I'm going to take the one guy, Christensen, and then Norris comes to him, and he's got this case that he's been working for a while, and it's this young woman who's been raped and murdered, a 20-year-old that was like stuffed under a bed after she was strangled or something terrible like that.
Yep.
And now he's got a possible witness that's willing to talk to him, but they're in New York. So, he needs to be paid for the travel or something like that. I can't exactly remember. So he, puts the plea out to McNulty, and McNulty says, all right, well, I'll help you out.
Yeah.
I'll put the car, the time on my bill. And so he tells Landsman, all right, I'll put Norris with me also.
Yep.
He's coming. But is he coming? He's not really coming.
Right.
Okay.
Heard you do with Christensen. Let him go on his own case while you carry him and 2 surveillance teams. Your shit is right, Jimmy.
Thanks.
So, I got another one for you. Remember the rape murder I had? Bolton Hill job? Brother-in-law of my rapist last year wouldn't talk to me. But now his wife just got collared. And if she gets locked up, his kids go to family services. So he's desperate to deal. The problem is, he's in the New York system. Elmira and Newburgh, one of those places. Anyway, I get a road card expenses, I can put it down. Jimmy, strangled the 20-year-old, stuffed her under her bed.
Okay, give my CC the motor pool. I'll bury the expenses in the OT in my file.
Thanks, brother.
Ain't you the little king of diamonds?
And guess what? Before long, we've got Crutchfield.
Yep.
He wants surveillance on a bus stop to catch a robber who's already killed a person and wounded others. And, McNulty, Crutchfield already knows the whole routine even. He doesn't even have to tell him what to do. Crutchfield already knows what to do. So Crutchfield thanks him, and he calls him boss.
Right.
Right. And McNulty's kind of like, what?
Yeah.
He gets thrown off by that. He's being treated like he is the guy in charge. And do you think like he likes it or he's uncomfortable about it? I couldn't really tell, or is it a combination of both?
What do you think?
I think it's a combination of both.
Okay.
I think he a little bit likes it, because he does kind of just like, yeah, we're getting stuff done now. But I think also he knows, I think he still does have a little bit of respect for chain of command. So maybe feels uncomfortable about it.
Oh.
I don't know. What do you think?
Well,
you think he likes it?
No, I actually think he hates it.
Oh, okay.
I think he wants all of the authority of being a boss without actually having to deal with any of the nonsense.
Okay.
And so, and he's probably said as much as almost anything else.
Yeah.
fuck the bosses.
Right, that's
and
true.
So for him
That's
to
true.
be called one, it's like
That's a
he's
good point.
become what he hated. So anyway, that's my interpretation of it. So when
Pretty
he's like, "What'd you
soon
say?" It's like
he
you
might
might
be
as well just
one of the bosses. that
spit
get
in his
fucked.
face, I guess. Yeah. So now he's the boss.
Guy's been hitting the bus shelters every third or fourth night. We've got 2 wounded in 1 day going back to that piece since December. All I'm asking is for hours to stake this asshole out. The guy's like clockwork. Spot me and Garvey. 3 nights, and the case is fucking down.
I can give you 2 nights.
If he hits on the third.
1 night.
Okay. 2 nights.
You put my CC number on the OT slips, and you give those to
It's
Jay.
cool. I know the drill.
You do?
You're doing good here, boss.
What did you just call me?
Okay, so, all right. Meanwhile, they're just like this fake case is just growing and growing beyond what McNulty has expected. It keeps getting more attention. This red ball just keeps red balling like crazy, and Freeman keeps doing that. How many times have we heard him say, "I need 1 more week, 2 weeks tops"?
Yeah.
There's more pressure, more expectations, and I just feel like it's not good. And Freeman says to McNulty, like, you need to be really careful about this because you helping these others,
Yeah.
it's going to.
It might bite us back.
It might bite us back, exactly, right? Like it might expose us and what we're doing.
Yep.
Yep.
It's definitely a code. Definitely not having much to do with time. We're at a point where I'm gonna need more bodies. Surveillance cars, man hours. We're gonna have to stay on these guys till those clocks start to make sense.
Well, good news is they're giving me more manpower than they can waste.
Bad news?
It's all around the office that I'm giving out hours and money to people who work other cases. I can't help it, Lester. It's the kind of person I am. Give and give and give.
You know, you're not careful, you're gonna get shit on you. On us.
Who's gonna complain? Guys are working cases and getting paid. So what exactly do you need?
7 men. No 8 in cars.
Oh, shit. They offered me men from the districts and the surveillance supervisor to run the detail.
Anyone in the districts we trust?
Let me think on that. Yeah?
I don't know how the fuck did you of all people do this shit, huh?
You got the right Allen wrench?
Goddamn direction.
Well, what kind of scotch are you using?
Yeah, I mean, and it's good intentions, but I think Freeman's probably right?
Yes.
I mean, and so, and McNulty, it's funny because I think about a lot of I don't know how to say this exactly, but I think about times when I have been like, oh man, I've got this really good idea. And then you get like 3 steps in and you're like, wait, I planned for 3 steps and there are like 300 steps.
Yeah.
And you did not plan past the first 3.
Yes.
And I feel like in some ways, like this is exactly what McNulty did. He's like, okay, I'm going to get money for this case.
Yep.
And then it's all going to work out because we're going to get all the manpower dedicated to this case. And you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense because you have to have a reason to have all these people on this case. And so just turning on the money wasn't enough. So anyway, it's pretty, it feels very true to life, I think, not that this case is actually true to life, but like, you have the start planned well, but then not have any idea how to go when things start going sideways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, sorry, if you don't mind, like, when you're putting a book together, you start with this initial idea.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have to like get past the kind of what's the word? The statement or the pitch idea, I guess. And then you have to actually start building the structure around it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have like a process for how you do that, or you just have to clench your fists and just power
I mean,
through.
there's like this kind of, what is it, inertia, right? Like that you have to sort of get over.
Yeah.
There's like a few moments of that where I kind of like feel like it's this boulder that you have to just like push and push and push and push, and then like it kind of rocks back and forth, and then finally it starts rolling.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like that.
All right. So McNulty could have benefited from a little bit more of that.
Maybe. Okay, I'm going to move on to Bunk.
Okay.
Okay, so ship his ass to the trial board.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Landsman has got to get everybody mobilized to have this mandatory meeting about this fake serial killer. And he tells Bunk, we got to go. And Bunk says, hell no. And Landsman says, you see these stripes on my sleeve? And Bunk says he's not going to go. He needs to focus on his 22 open murders from the previous year. And he basically says, F McNulty.
Yeah.
And, F his case. And he's gonna work on this. And you can, like I said, ship his ass to the trial board.
Yep.
And Landsman, bless him.
Yep.
Lets him do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To you. I'll be glad when you're dead to rescue you. Ah. Look at you, you baby bumping motherfucker. Look at you.
Let's go. Deputy wants as much of my squad as I can wrangle upstairs right now. We're going large Richard on McNulty's serial killer.
I'm working my cases.
Boom. Command performance. Deputy wants bodies. The mayor is spewing over this thing.
I'm not going.
What, you don't see those on my sleeve? Plain as fucking day, bud.
I'm doing police work here. In fact, I have a fresh angle on last year's major case, on which I'm the sole remaining investigator. So fuck your stripes and fuck McNulty. Fuck your big dick red ball. If you can't work with that, then just write me the fuck up and ship my ass to a trial board.
So, I love that.
Yeah.
He just says he could write me up.
Right.
And he decides to just let him go.
Yeah.
Because if he's going to push that hard, then he must really care about what he's doing.
Right.
Good job, Landsman. Good job, Landsman. And I think, he knows Bunk's been coming to his office over and over and over again, just frustrated with the labs and the going nowhere of it. He must know that he started all over on these cases too, right? So, okay.
Yeah, the thing that they mentioned about Wendell Pierce, that Dominic West said, is that one of the things that's great about him, or actually, sorry, this was Kate Sanford, the editor, saying this, is that he is always doing something interesting on camera. So when he's just looking at the envelope, he's singing this little song as he's opening it up, and even those little moments, like they were just talking about how great he is when he's on camera, and he's always just delivering every single time. And then of course, like, his response to Landsman is both kind of great on its face, but the fact that he doesn't give up McNulty, even a little bit, I thought was also just really awesome.
Yeah.
Right. And so, he's just focusing on, I love his line, like, when I'm doing police work here.
Yeah.
It's just great. So,
it is so
yeah.
good.
I think it also adds some context later. I think you'll probably talk about it later when, or you already cover the part with Kima when she's
no,
okay.
Not
so,
yet.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I will.
Okay. So yeah, it's weird. All these different threads are really like mashed together in this particular episode. Anyway, but in that scene, as well, he's just kind of off screen doing some stuff anyway. So he's so great. So anyway, yeah. And then just your point about Landsman, yeah, he tried to invoke his authority, but only realized after Bunk said, well, if you're gonna penalize me, you have to go all the way. And Landsman had no intention of actually doing that. He just wanted to see if he was going to listen to him on the first attempt, and that was basically it. So it was a little bit of a bluff. But I agree, Landsman did not have any interest in going further than that. So, yeah.
Well, as we recall, Bunk has been pursuing Michael because of the way that his stepfather was murdered, and because of because of Michael's mom saying that Snoop and Chris were involved with it. So Carver ends up bringing in Michael so that Bunk can ask about that murder, but Michael doesn't give him anything useful. The conversation just goes nowhere, which it doesn't help to alleviate some of Bunk's frustration about things.
Can you make out who that is?
Yeah.
Look at you. Not even blinking. Not that I blame you after what this heinous motherfucker did to you. Still, this right here is vicious. I mean, whoever did this had a real time. Now, you know what I'm saying? Now, I know it wasn't you. Because with all due respect, you don't have the physicality to do this kind of damage. I mean, whoever did this had to be a full-grown and powerful individual, a fearsome individual. You see what I'm saying?
You the murder police. How the fuck would I know?
And he's just really cynical and low throughout this episode. McNulty's case has slowed everything else down. Every time that McNulty's in there, he's just, like, oh, you're proud of yourself for what we've done. And then, when Kima gets pulled off of her triple homicide, he's just like, how do you feel about getting her pulled off of that? When she talks about how she's gonna be watching her kid that night, and just stuff like that. He's kind of just livid, really sour about it. And he calls the lab. The cases are still just not going anywhere, and I don't know if that's because of all the stuff before, or because now they're processing the work from the serial.
That's it.
Oh, it is because of that too. So now,
no, I'm sorry, the homeless.
From the homeless murders, the fake serial killer.
Yeah, right, sorry.
Yeah, so he was finally getting some headway with that, because he was went down there and talked to the guy and put some pressure on it, right?
Yeah.
And now there's all this extra pressure to solve the serial killer cases.
Right.
So now that's not going anywhere. So really he's trying to solve these actual murders and has none of the support that he needs.
Right.
So yeah, that was another thing that was just like a downer about this episode.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I guess so I'm just going to jump in because
go ahead. That's really all I have on Bunk.
Okay. Because the part where Landsman talks about Quantico.
Yeah.
And you hear Bunk laugh. That's
then he's like, what? You don't believe in forensic analysis or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not about that at all.
Right. Exactly. And your point is that's probably the only time that he has any kind of levity in this entire episode. So that's the first thing. And as you said, he doesn't see the value that McNulty has kind of unlocked because of the principle behind it.
Right.
So it's just really, and then of course his own frustration and what he wants to get done. So.
Yeah.
All right. So just to back up, if you don't mind, a little bit.
Ahead.
So did you want to talk any more about Michael and Dookie on the corner?
I am going to talk about that when we get to. Let me see here.
Is it the Omar?
When we talk about Savino and Omar.
Okay.
But if you want to talk about it now.
No. I'm not sure if the two things are connected, so I might as well just
cover
it now.
They're not. Yeah, okay. There was really no other place it really fits in very much. So go ahead.
Fair enough. So
yeah.
So just leading up to that, right? So the scene with Dookie and Michael while Dookie's looking at the classifieds.
Yeah.
So this is where I was I felt like you were on the right track when it comes to Prez and Dookie, because Dookie is trying to find some way out. He's originally well, what am I supposed to do? And now he's back on the corner, which I think is interesting, because then he's back on the corner where Kennard's there and Spider's there. I also liked how Michael just shut Spider down immediately.
I know, that was great.
And he just had to turn away. I just appreciated that.
Yes.
And then, but that whole scene of, it's just not that, I guess it's just oh God, Chris, again with this, but it is one of those things where you and I have seen the letters HVAC 100 million times, and we know exactly what it means.
I know.
And then you have these kids, and this kid, he wants to get a job, but he can't understand even some basic words about what that means. And
I know.
It's not that is the that is the next step for him. But it's more just like, if you were to see these things and just be continually discouraged about what people are even looking for in terms of a job, I could just see like, God, there's nowhere for me to go. So
Right.
it's just, that part is, it's just frustrating to watch, and just makes just one more thing where you like, we got to figure out a way to get resources to people so that there is some way, because Doogie obviously can do good work.
Agreed.
Given the opportunity.
Agreed.
So, and then of course he's not even 16 yet, so that's a whole
I
separate
know.
thing. So
I did appreciate that they put that little bit of levity though,
Absolutely.
with him being
That's
a
right.
dancer at the very end, and then he
Yes.
stood up, and
Yes.
he started dancing
Yeah.
and made Michael laugh.
Yep.
Like that warmed my heart.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
Just, that I was just like, okay. Of all of the things, like he doesn't know what HVAC is.
Right.
But
Yeah.
and he could dance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Mark, check this out. Certified hydrotherapist. Experience with geriatric patients, Sinai Hospital outpatient clinic.
Jerry who?
Whatever, how about this? Dental front desk. High quality dental office, 6 front desk.
What do you mean, like furniture?
Like a secretary, I guess.
Man, you ain't even never been to no dentist.
HVAC maintenance supervisor.
What the fuck is a HVAC?
HVAC, maybe they spelled it bad. Systems manager in a deadline-driven environment.
Man, ain't nothing there. Even if there was, you ain't 16. And y'all gotta pick up bug after 3.
Hey, hang on. Exotic dancer downtown, financial district, lunchtime hours must be flexible in body and mind.
Now we talking. Hey, make it rain on them. Make it rain. Hold up.
Time out.
You know, Alan Sepinwall, when he was talking about this episode, talks about how the Wire does do a great job of, you have these kind of, this isn't a tragic scene per se, but
Right.
it's definitely like a downer of a scene,
a
and
downer,
then they're able
yeah.
to weave in some humor, which is great.
Yes.
So, so yeah, I did appreciate that. But I agree. And then Carver shows up, and he's just in this, this and the scene where he drops him off, and he just gets out of his car and he points at Michael, and just like, I just love that too. That's just shows such command of his job now, which
Yes.
you like seeing that, because he seems like he's on a good path. So that's always good. So, and then when he gets into the interrogation room, now I didn't interpret it as Michael was shaken by the pictures. Did you get that read on it?
No.
Okay.
Oh God, I did not.
Okay.
No, I thought he didn't mind seeing him at all.
Yeah. Okay. That was my impression. As
Yeah.
well. So, and of course that was Bunk's read on it. And that's how I interpreted
Yeah.
it. Or sorry, I interpreted Bunk's read is that he looked at him, saw that Michael did
Yes.
not even blink, and it was like clearly he knew what was going on, or that this was expected.
Yep.
So, which is what Michael's mom told Bunk exactly. So, in any case, so it's a great scene, and Tristan Wilde is in he's in the other scene with Omar, but he just plays it so cool. It's just a really impressive performance. Dominic West said that he shot Tristan 2 ways, one where he was more talkative and one where he wasn't, and he said they both worked. And Wendell Pierce's comment on the scene was, quote, "Motherfucker doesn't say a word and he still steals the scene," which I really actually have to give him credit for. Like that,
Yeah.
he is pretty great. I mean,
Oh,
Wendell
yeah.
Pierce is great too. So
Yeah.
it is just a, and you just love that, like, to see that, like, I do like to see, like, you're the motor police. How the fuck would I know? It's a great response, and Michael clearly knows how to handle this particular pressure, and
Yep.
it goes back to what he was saying last season, and saying, like, you don't say anything, they have to let you go, and that's exactly what happened here. So
Yeah. And too, I've been thinking this for a while too. It's just like Bunk and Alma are the same to me, and Templeton and McNulty are the same to me.
absolutely,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're doing things the right way.
Yep.
And just not get the appreciation that they should be getting for it.
right, yeah,
Okay. I'm going to move on to Omar.
okay,
Okay. So Omar tracks down Savino and, pulls up, puts a gun on him instantly. And Savino says he wasn't there when Partlow and Snoop tortured and killed Butchie. I cannot remember. Was he there or
No.
not? He was not there. Okay. And Omar doesn't. I don't know if Omar believes him or not. But he does say, like, would you have been helping him or trying
Right.
to stop them anyways?
yeah,
And he pauses for a moment, and I did not. I almost texted you, but he I know. I was like, did I text him? Anyways, I mean, Savino, is it worth texting Chris?
Yeah.
I don't know. But Omar shoots him.
Yeah.
Right then.
Mm-hmm.
Did not expect that.
Yeah.
It's like, so it's not going to be Snoop. It's not going to be Chris.
Yeah.
Savino's the one. I knew he was going to kill somebody eventually. Like, somebody was not going to just get shot in the leg. Somebody was going to get killed.
Yeah.
And it was Savino.
I see you at the stash house, yo. Ain't used to be with them Barksdale boys. What they call you, yo?
Savino.
Yeah, that's right, Savino. You ain't never moved no dope. You was always muscle, as I recall. Now you muscling for Marlo, huh?
I wasn't there. When he did the old man like that, I wasn't there. Chris and Snoop, they on that.
Well, I know who was there. So you innocent, huh? Let me ask you something, though. Being that you muscle for Marlo, what you was gonna do if you was there, huh? Riddle me that. Yeah. You know what, yo?
Yeah, what do you think about why he shot Savino?
I don't know if it, like, I was trying to think about that. Was like his patience just wearing thin? He needed to make a bigger example. He did a lot of shooting in the leg. I think that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
He just needed to make a bigger example.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Well, I think that, yeah, I was trying to, I happen to think it's because his patience is kind of wearing thin a little bit. So that was kind of how I looked at it. It was like, it was just like, okay, someone's got to pay for Butchie.
Right.
I've been going at this for too long. And now Donnie, right? And I've just been going at it for too long. And he was trying to weasel his way out of it by saying he's innocent, even though he's standing with Chris and Snoop and Marlo. And I think that was just enough for him to say, no, you're not innocent.
Yeah.
And to claim otherwise is a lie.
Right.
And that was enough for him to kind of push him over the edge. That's all I could really think about. I happen to believe that it was also kind of payback for the viewer for Kima in the first season, because Savino was involved in the setup of her getting shot. Yeah, exactly. So it was more just
Savino.
like that little closing that little loop there is how why him. Good. Right. And so whereas like the guy last week with the money drop, like we don't know who this guy is, so it's like it really wouldn't do anything for us. And like I don't know if you skipped over the stash house.
I did. I'm sorry.
Okay, you want to just cover that real quick, and we'll talk about that as well. I mean, or I you know what, I can cover it. It's
have
okay.
it on there.
So Cherry and Savino had shown up at the stash house, see the door open. They open the door, and there's a guy on the floor that's dead. Mm-hmm. Right, and so that was Omar. That was his first kill. Was Manny, right? And he's dead. And then Vincent's in the chair tied up.
Yep.
And this is important because of the killer cameo later. That's right. But of course, so then you see that he's basically just doing more of the same. He's just fucking up Marlo's shit, basically.
Yep.
What the fuck? Yo, Vince! Where you at?
Manny! Manny!
Shit.
Omar!
Why you still alive then?
He say, tell Marlo he out in the streets waiting. Say this whole damn city gonna know Marlo ain't man enough to come down in the streets.
He get stashed?
Yo, Cherry, he blew Manny up as soon as he got inside. He was gonna do me too.
How the fuck he get inside?
Manny opened up to go on the food run and this dick sucker was right there. Man, he knew we was the stash. Ain't need to be told shit. He just knew.
Four Kia raw, flushed.
Hey, yo, Cherry, you gonna untie me, right? Come on, nigga. Untie me.
And so, anyway, so the reason why I wanted to bring this up at all is because Omar had committed to Bunk that he was not going to put any more bodies. There were not going to be any more bodies on Omar.
Mm-hmm.
And so now Savino seemed like it was the first one. It was actually Manny who was killed first.
Mm-hmm.
So he had already broken his code.
That's right.
His commitment to Bunk for that. So
Yes.
then we see this kind of in full with his killing of Savino. So that's why. So the Manny.
That's right.
The thing about Manny, that the only reason I just mentioned is that was his first kill.
Yep.
And then Savino was second.
That's right.
And so once he kind of cracked the door open, now he's already on his way to essentially wherever he's going. So now he's just going to kill indiscriminately, irrespective of what he told Bunk when Bunk got him out of prison. Anyway, that's all. That's all that. So,
sorry, I forgot that.
And I
one.
just So no, that's okay. I mean, it's there's so many things weaving together here.
Yes.
There's some small scenes here and there. So yeah.
Okay, so then that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the next day, and this one's so that was at night. This is the next day.
Mm-hmm.
During the day, Omar's on his broom crutch.
Yep.
And he comes right up to Michael's corner with a gun.
Yep.
And before they can act, he grabs the gun out of the wheel well and holds him up. He comes right up to Michael, sits behind him, puts the gun up to his head, and lets him know that he has killed Savino. And he says he's just going to keep on coming after him until Marlo comes and faces him directly. And he's just going to keep taking out his muscle. And then he just walks off.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all pretty freaked out. Michael is like, oh my God, if he knows that I was the one that was there when we were at Monk's place, I would be dead.
Yeah.
And Kennard is just kind of like, oh, no. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, Kennard is just so... Kennard's got problems. Kennard's just gonna be really like a disassociated adult.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You heard what Lord Jamo said to the juvenile master? Lady asked him like, yo, you got a record? He said, yeah, bitch, I got a record. My record so long, I'm about to put out an album.
Push that down, youngin'. The Stanfield corner, huh? Huh? Know who I am. You make sure you tell the boss man that you know who it is dropped Savino last night. You feel me? You tell that man I'm gonna drop all his muscle so he get the heart to come down to the street and dance. You gonna remember all that, Sweet Pea?
That's Omar? Dang.
Savino dead, yo.
Shit, man. If you would have made me from Monk's apartment the other night, I might be laid out my own self.
Gimpy as a motherfucker.
So just a comment about that. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about Kennard at the end because it's so good.
Yeah.
But when Omar comes out and
I feel like they could have taken Omar down. Like I know he has the gun pointed on them, but when he hobbles over to the car, just like, what? Like, you guys, the 4 or 5 of you didn't just go take him down right then?
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, go ahead, Chris.
No, actually, that's an interesting point. I mean, I think that the problem is, at least is the way I would look at it, is none of them is willing to give up their life for, and in order to do that, one of them would have gotten killed,
yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
So you have, if you're not armed, then you don't have any chance of survival. So I don't know. That's how I would have looked at it. But in any case, so he comes out and then he puts the gun on Michael.
Yeah.
So, and when he's got the gun on Michael and he's right up on him, you can see Tristan Wilde is breathing really hard.
Yeah.
Which I just really liked his performance. He just looks so nervous for a kid that was completely unflappable. he's really like selling it that he is very nervous.
Yeah.
Alan Sepinwall had a comment, and I want to be very clear that there's no implication that homosexuality and pedophilia are the same.
Right.
I want to make that clear.
Yes.
Those are two very different things.
Of course.
But for Michael, there might be the implication that a man being that close to him would be reminiscent of of his experience.
Sure.
And so that part might have been layered in as well. So when you look at it that way, it does fit. And it just was quite interesting. So anyway, so that was just for a short scene. It's really quite. I just really enjoyed it. And then of course Kennard, as you said, they actually spend a couple of camera shots on Kennard, just absolutely like, I fucking Omar, just not impressed at all, doesn't care. And then of course his line as Omar walks away is, "That's Omar."
Yeah.
Which I thought was very interesting that he wouldn't know what Omar looked like, but then, and then he said Gimpy is a motherfucker, which
Gimpy
I just
is
thought
a motherfucker.
so that was just great stuff. So anyway, so that's funny stuff.
Yep. He's looking a little healthier, but he's still got to get some like a boot or something on that.
Yeah.
I'm worried about him. I'm so worried about him.
Yeah.
Oh, he needs this Ronaldo.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Let me see here. I'm going to move on to the Baltimore Sun if you are ready for
let's
that.
do it.
Okay. Let me see here. Let me get to the right spot. All right. So let's take care. Okay. Gus Haynes. He's getting suspicious of Templeton's reporting. Who is he talking to about this again? I'm sorry, I keep asking what her name is.
Her name is Rebecca something. I forget the last name. Yeah,
and
but
she's
the regional. She's like regional editor.
Did you tell me though that she is like actually she's related to?
No, that was a different.
Okay,
that was a different person.
character.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no, she's a proper actor.
Okay, yes, she's a proper actor. Okay, so he's getting really suspicious of the reporting here, right? And so, sorry, I'm trying to find actually some of the quotes, some of the things that he says. Okay. So we know that Gus has already been talking to Templeton about some of his reporting. For instance, the story about the crab lady and the money that was supposed to go to her son. So that's been a thread that's been going through. Okay, we at some point have Gus going to the cop bar, and he sees there, let's see, who does he see first? He sees Santangelo, and then he sees Mello, who we haven't seen for a while. And he casually asks if someone could get processed through the system under a fake name. And Mello explains to him that with fingerprints and photos, it is basically impossible, which makes Gus seriously question whether Templeton's earlier story about the crab lady, his excuse, whether that story was actually possible.
Right.
Right.
Does that seem possible? You'd go through the court system with a false ID? Maybe the first time, if you got no priors, no prints on file. But after that, BPI sheets have fingerprint characteristics that are like an FBI barcode. And it's paired with a photo. A name's one thing, but unless these women are twin sisters and one's been carrying the other one's hands around in their purse for the last 12 years, that means yanking your chain.
Okay, so that is really concerning.
Yep.
And back at the paper, we have Gus and Corbett both really uncomfortable with Templeton's latest story about spending the night with the homeless. It feels really off to them. And Gus didn't want it to be published as it was written.
Yeah.
He felt like he was talking to, what are the guys' names again? Klebano
and Whiting.
Whiting. And he told him that, you know, the way that it had been written, it made it sound like he had been living with the homeless for weeks, even though he'd only been out there one night and spent a half day quoting people from the homeless shelter. He'd said that it wasn't exactly Studs Terkel, who I know is a nonfiction writer. I'm not sure what the comparison was for.
He did an oral history of the Great Depression.
Okay.
So that was probably the closest connection. Is
okay.
Just talking with people for months and months about what their experience was during that time. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. Anyhow, so he basically is, I like the quote he said where this is our fucking city, this ain't Beirut.
Right, exactly, yeah.
But ended up one of the guy, was it Klebano, who said, I respect your concerns, but I'll take the piece and move it as my own edit.
Yeah.
So, it's not your problem anymore. I still want it to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is weird that these guys are both above him, more experienced than him, but still want this piece to run.
You see what I have a problem with, right? I mean, the first person is one thing. I know he needs to put himself in the story.
It's essential.
But this business about him being out there day and night with the homeless. I mean, this stuff about sharing their, quote, darkest corners with them, unquote.
He's writing more as an essayist.
We've got a column from Old Esker, Front Metro. I mean, it's pretty powerful without being purple. But this stuff that Scott's written, it makes it sound like he's been living with the homeless for weeks. He spends one night under the JFX and another half day quoting people in a homeless shelter. It ain't exactly Studs Terkel.
You don't think the piece should run as it is?
I mean, we have him interviewed about the call from the killer in Elm's Main Bar. We have his quotes, but the rest of the stuff, he's acting like he's taking his life in his hands. He walks under the highway at night. I mean, this is our fucking city. This ain't Beirut.
I respect your concerns. I'll take the piece and move it as my own edit. How's that?
Yeah.
So you're closer to the publishing world than I am. When he says he's going to move it as his own edit, this just feels very inside baseball about why that would matter, right?
I really don't know.
Okay.
Do
you mind if we speculate for a minute? I mean, you look in the paper and you say like the, written by, and then you see edited by.
Yeah.
So you're putting your name on the published work as well?
Right, I guess so. And I guess that really is what it comes down to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's what that is what it comes down to. Is like you have an editor, they've got an eye for that makes them unique.
Yep.
And if they allow something to go out the way that it's written, then that would be essentially their stamp of approval.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so that story goes out, right? And, Corbett comes back and is like, oh my gosh, this, I can't believe nobody thought that this shouldn't be, taken down a notch.
Yeah.
And this is when Gus shares that I don't trust him.
Yeah.
And, now I'm starting to second guess everything that he said, the crab cake story, but not just that. He tries to duck out of corrections on more than one occasion. I'm starting to think about the kid in the wheelchair at Oriole Park that I didn't get the name for. And so, this is not looking very good.
Yeah.
For Templeton, although I don't know, I just have a feeling that he's going to be weaseling his way through this, and now he has people higher than Gus who are on his side.
Yeah, exactly.
It's embarrassing, ain't it?
I can't believe nobody had sense enough to tone this down.
The hype is bad enough, but what gets me is I can't trust the guy. I mean, I sent him back out on the street to own his mistake. He comes back with some bullshit about stolen identities. I ain't gonna fucking get took. Everybody gets took now and then.
I know I did.
It's about not owning up to it.
Gus, this thing with the woman and the crab cake. You think the first time you catch him is the first time he does it?
A lot of guys will try to duck a correction. But the thing of this is, he was standing on an outright lie. And if he'll lie about a correction...
Then will he lie to make a story better than it ought to be?
I keep thinking about that kid in the wheelchair out in front of Oriole Park. One only had a nickname. Black kid from the west side, crazy for baseball. Basketball, yeah. Football, sure. I don't want to call another reporter a liar. I really don't.
So I think it's going to work for him. Like, Alma should be the one that's almost the one who got the story first from McNulty.
Yeah.
And Templeton is the one who's benefiting here. So
Right.
it just is pissing me off
Yeah.
so much. Okay. Anyways. So because this is the story that the Baltimore Sun is moving, everybody's working this angle. Gus sends Fletcher out to do some research just to get a better picture of what, to round this out. And then Fletcher goes to that same soup kitchen that Templeton visited, and who is working there? Bubbles. And Bubbles says, if you have a number, I can seat you. And Fletcher says, well, I'm not really here to eat. I'm here to talk to the homeless. And Bubbles says, why does everybody come here to talk to the homeless? And he says, is this not where the homeless come? He says, well, everybody who wants to eat comes here. And he kind of explains the situation to him.
You got a number? What? Number on a slip. You get a number, I might find you a seat mac and cheese today.
No, I'm a newspaper reporter.
Oh, so you got what to eat then?
Yeah. Came down here just to hang out and get with some homeless people.
How come whenever there'll be one homeless, they'll come to the soup kitchens?
You don't serve homeless?
Serve everybody. Homeless, poor folks, working people trying to make it to a paycheck. Shit, half the neighborhood would be up here a week before check day.
Hey, you're not
homeless? No, I'm down in my sister's basement over in Evanston Village. What do you need the homeless to say?
Talk about the killings. Thing going on with the serial killer. But mostly I'm just looking for a story about what it's like for them. And what life is like.
Hard times out here.
Can't imagine.
And you going about a story about what life's like, huh? Bubbles, man.
Mike Fletcher.
And later, Bubbles takes him around to meet people who are actually living on the street. And, he starts listening to the stories. He gets a better idea of what their lives are like. What is the joke that Bubbles tells him? Do you want to take him? You could take me. You can have me, or something like that. That joke that Bubbles.
Oh yeah. I actually, you know what? I remember he said he was just fucking with him, and I don't remember. I don't remember exactly how. Yeah,
it's cute, and anyhow, it was just he tries to pay him, and Bubbles tells him, you don't have to pay me. He says, just write how it feels.
Yeah.
Which is basically the same thing that Gus told him, right?
Right, exactly.
Write what feels true.
Yep.
Jesus. That poor guy.
You want to take him home with you? Shit. Take me.
What?
Just having fun with you.
Thanks for bringing me here, man. Showing me around.
Nah. Not about that.
Sure.
Just body like it feels.
So, anyways, I love this.
Absolutely.
And my prediction here is that this gets Bubbles to open up about what happened with Sherrod.
Okay.
And I think some healing is going to happen. Yes, I do.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So, I in rewatching this, I've mentioned before that season 5 is generally considered the weakest, and we've gone into that before and the why and that kind of thing. But watching this, I was like, this is one of my favorite relationships of the entire series.
Yeah,
these two guys just hit it off right away.
Oh, good.
They have this great
I'm looking
connection.
Forward to more
and
of
sorry, I'm not giving anything away. I'm just saying,
Okay.
in this episode itself, the way that Bubbles connects with Fletcher and vice versa, and then they're in under the bridge. I think it was the same bridge. I think that where Templeton was, and just write it like it feels like just a comment. It's just like it just feels like one of those moments where I wish I could describe it. The words are failing me, which I was in listening to recent episodes. They've been failing me quite a lot, but let's just set that aside. There's just something. I don't know. There's just something it just feels like the really authentic connection.
Yeah.
And I just really appreciate the way that they portrayed it is, Bubbles is just kind of being his guide through this experience, and Fletcher is just being very honest about what his experience is like.
Yeah.
And open and curious, and it's just a really wonderful interaction to watch.
I am so looking forward to more. Please tell me we get more of this in the next episode.
I'm not telling you anything. I'm sorry.
Why you gotta do me like that, Chris?
How would this be a spoiler-free episode? There are people listening to us as well, and they're like, "Don't tell me." They're on my side on this.
That's true. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna move on to. Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. Am I done with this? Yes, I am.
Yeah,
I'm going to move on to the incredible Clay Davis. Oh my gosh. So
Let us
Clay
begin our
Davis,
vomiting.
I guess he did need to hire a defense attorney. Somehow I didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
So he hires this guy, Billy Murphy. And Billy Murphy's very good.
Yep.
And Billy Murphy's like, he's not so sure if he wants to be hired, and he's going to be expensive. And Clay Davis is like, oh, you know, you're going to want to represent me. I mean, I'm going to be like the best thing that ever happened to you. And oh my God, he's right.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. Yeah. He even tries to spin the case into something bigger, suggesting federal charges.
So are we partners or what?
No, Clay. I don't pick so much as a single juror without the full amount of my fee being paid. If you want Billy Murphy on your case, you got to pay to put him there.
I got a taste for you right up front, a good 5-figure taste. But you asking for me to pay a winner's fee right up front, and you know what? I ain't a winner yet. Right now, with the sword hanging over my head, I don't have the kind of financial support at my disposal that I would ordinarily be able to rely upon. You feel?
So the money boys are laying off, huh?
Oh, they thinking short when they should be thinking long. Shameful shit. 25,000. 25,000 more when you see the jury.
I don't work that way.
I know you don't, partner. I know you don't. And normally, I wouldn't dream of asking you to suit up for game day with my tab as it is.
200,000 when I get you out from under this mess. And Clay, don't fuck me. Don't even think about fucking me out of a single part of that fee.
Oh, Billy, you talk as if you don't know me. I'm disappointed. I am. My brother, let's be fair. I'm providing you with the opportunity to go head-to-head with the state's attorney in a case that's gonna be front-page news. For all that profile, shit, partner, you should be paying me a fee. Seriously, dog, for 20,000 cash to my campaign committee, I'll get myself indicted federal, let you go to trial on that. Beat the feds like a stepchild and really make a name for yourself. Fuck you? No, son, I'm gonna make you. Motherfuckers gonna be wiping their ass with Johnny Cochran's memory and carrying your business card in every damn pocket before we done.
No, I already got more rep than any lawyer would ever need. Why don't you save that silver-tongued bullshit for the jury?
Okay, so, boy, oh boy. They go, they turn this whole thing into theater. They show up to court. Come into court, and he even brings a book with a tragic figure from Greek mythology.
Exactly, yeah.
Prometheus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he even says it right.
He does not.
He does not.
I have to wonder if that was an Isaiah Whitlock thing or if that was actually scripted like that. Prometheus Bound, yeah.
Prometheus.
Yeah.
Prometheus Bound. And yeah, I don't actually know the reference. Do you? I didn't have time to look it up.
I do.
Okay, could you tell us
Sure.
about it, Chris?
So Prometheus. Prometheus. God damn it. Prometheus Bound. Prometheus Bound, attributed to Aeschylus, is a Greek tragedy detailing the punishment of the Titan Prometheus, who is chained to a Caucasus mountain by Zeus for stealing fire and gifting it, along with civilization, to humanity.
Oh, yeah.
Defiant against Zeus's tyranny, Prometheus endures torment while prophesying Zeus's eventual downfall, ultimately being cast into Tartarus for refusing to reveal a secret that could save him. So that's basically the idea is that he was unjustly prosecuted or persecuted by Zeus for essentially doing the right thing and helping humanity. So that's the idea anyway.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
But.
Senator, there have been rumors of a last-minute plea offer.
How can I plead to what I didn't do?
What are you reading there, Senator?
This here? Prometheus Bound, an ancient play, one of the oldest we have, about a simple man who was horrifically punished by the powers that be for the terrible crime of trying to bring light to the common people. In the words of Aeschylus, no good deed goes unpunished. I cannot tell you how much consolation I find in these slim pages.
One more question, Senator.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do believe I have my day in court, and I will see you inside.
Let's see here.
And sorry, before you go into,
Yes.
might as well just mention at this point, Billy Murphy, the lawyer,
Yes.
his name is actually Billy Murphy, and he is an actual Baltimore lawyer.
No, he's not.
Yeah. So they somehow got him to play the role, play himself in the movie, or excuse me, in the show.
My
so that's pretty
God, he plays himself perfectly. I do love they do a little Johnny Cochran reference.
Yep, exactly.
So where is this in relation to the O.J. Simpson trial?
Oh, this would be, what, 14 years later?
This is 14 years later. Okay. Is there any commentary that refers to the O.J. Simpson trial in reference to this?
Not that I recall.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have the prosecution presenting its case, and we have Day Price coming in. And, he does admit that he took money, thousands and thousands of dollars, which he paid back to Davis. And yes, he did receive pay for being a driver, and that he received that money through, I think, the foundation or something like that.
Yep.
And, you look at Bond and you look at Perlman, and they look pretty satisfied
Absolutely.
with what goes on. It seems pretty damaging. We have Murphy go up and do a cross-examination of him, and they point out that he was a convicted felon. Oh, Davis gave you a job. Yes, he did. And, you don't know what happened to that money. And, he gets a little defensive, but, at the end, he's kind of like, you guys can decide what you're going to do. Right. And it, I think, sounds pretty convincing. Like, I just, did what I was supposed to do, and I want to just be done with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have a criminal history, do you not, Mr. Price?
Yeah, I did some years.
And when you last got out of prison 6 years ago, was Senator Davis aware of your criminal record?
Yes, sir.
And yet he gave you a job. But today, is this how you repay him? The testimony you gave about returning the money you earned at the senator's charities, you say you repaid it to the senator in cash, correct?
Every time.
So there's no proof that the senator ever received that money, isn't that correct?
I guess not.
You guess not.
I guess not.
Mr. Price, you acknowledged earlier that in exchange for your testimony, you received immunity from prosecution for any charges related to this case. Is it fair to say that testifying against Senator Davis ensures that you will not yourself go to jail?
Goddamn right.
Mr. Price?
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Mr. Price.
Okay, my beat, Judge. Sorry.
Mr. Price, do you expect this jury to take the word of a twice convicted felon over the word of a duly elected member of the Maryland State Senate?
What can I say? Y'all can play it like you feel and leave me be.
Yeah, sorry, just a real quick note. So, this is one of those things I was thinking about. Is this a life lesson or not? Probably not. So,
okay.
But, the one important part is that in the last episode, Rhonda was talking to Bond and saying, it's been a while since you've tried a case. And, it just makes me think about the Greek tragedies and how then the notion of hubris. And this is a lot of hubris going into it, right? So Bond doesn't use the headshot against Davis.
Yeah.
He is trying his own this case himself, even though he's essentially somewhat out of practice.
Yeah.
And so that brings me to this point here, which is, the key, I guess, flaws or weaknesses in Day-Day's testimony is that was given a plea deal and that he's a convicted felon who was hired by Clay Davis. These are very predictable lines of attack. And the fact that one of the tactics that you should use, my understanding anyway, is that as a good lawyer is that you want to steal your opponent's tactic if you can. So Bond not having done that and leaving it to the defense attorney to expose makes it look like they're trying to hide something, and therefore damage Day-Day's credibility. So if Bond had been more experienced, he probably would have brought this line of questioning before and been able to address it himself to say, let's start with these difficult discussions.
Yeah.
Davis hired you despite you
forward
being
first.
a felon.
Yeah.
And address it, and then that doesn't give Murphy this certain kind of surprise opportunity. And then you can kind of close with these other components of, here's how everything worked. And that's like what the jury is left with. So it was a interesting commentary from Kate Sanford. She actually got put on jury duty after The Wire had finished taping, and she noticed that there were a lot more objections in actual trial, and Dominic West's comment was, this is showing
their experience.
Bond's inexperience, not Rhonda's, because Rhonda is second, and so she doesn't want to usurp Bond's authority.
Yeah.
So.
Although she was saying before that she was, when she was talking to Daniels about how she had to be really super prepared to help.
Yeah, for sure.
him.
Yeah, but in this regard, like Bond is still kind of in charge of handling the objections and stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
So, by the way, so we kind of skipped over the Daniels thing, but the comment from Dominic West, which I just think is hilarious, is he said he wanted them dressed as if, I swear to God, I am not making this up. He wanted them dressed as if they had just finished really good sex, which, I mean, Daniels in his tank top, odds are pretty good.
Yeah, he looks real good. Okay, so
moving on to now Davis's
Davis's. Oh my God. Okay. So the prosecution presents now Davis takes a stand, and he completely flips the narrative. He is charming, and he explains that he had to keep cash on hand to help his constituents in need. He says his world is strictly cash and carry, right? His people need something. They know where to find him. He says they give him $20,000 for a basketball and an air pump, and he is pulling goodly on that for whoever comes at him. Bail my son out, buy a new shirt, pay my child's, how did he say it?
Asthma. Yeah.
Asthma doctor.
Yeah.
And it's the arthritis.
Oh, that's what. No, right. Sorry,
yeah.
I've got to bail my son out. Yeah,
the arthritis doctor. The arthritis doctor.
I should have caught that.
Yeah. And then just the standing up and pulling his pockets inside out, and everybody just laughing and finding him to be just the darned cutest, sweetest, kindest man ever.
Yep.
And frankly, I just didn't buy it. They just felt like they just made the jury seem like the dumbest people in the world to me. And honestly, like they were the least intelligent people ever.
You bet it all went into my account. It made it easier for me to do my job. And at the end of the day, not one penny stayed with me.
I need you to do better than that, Senator. Where are your records?
Records?
Yes, records. For example, this check for $11,000, dated January 22nd.
That was last winter, right? So, some went to pay everyone's BGE, because half my district was gonna have the heat turned off. And then some went for puff jackets for them that got children in need. Let me tell you something, man. My neck of the woods, it's a jungle out there. Everybody living hand to mouth, improvising, hustling, make do with as little as you can imagine. Hell, that TV show, what the Survivor? Man, they want some good contestants. They need to come around West Side. Folks I know, we do great on that show. Practice every damn day of our lives. Hell, and Fear Factor? Oh, shit. Don't even get me started.
Forgive me, but I still don't understand how that justifies...
Let me tell you something, brother. I don't know how they do it out in Roland Park. Maybe Prosecutor O'Bonna can enlighten me on that. But my world is strictly cash and carry, and I am Clay Davis. My people need something, they know where to find me. Let me tell you, brother. I step out the door, hit the corner of Mosier and Pennsylvania. You better believe my pockets are bulging. But by the time I get to Robert Street...
Objection! Objection, Your Honor!
Senator, take a seat and refrain from offhand references to Mr. Bond.
My apologies, Your Honor.
But these charities were set up for basketball leagues in city rec centers, weren't they?
Yeah, but you give me $20,000 for a basketball and an air pump, I am pulling goodly on that for whoever comes at me. Senator Clay, I got to bury my mother, bail out my son, buy a new shirt for a job interview, pay my child's asthma doctor. Takes me half an hour to go 100 yards. And excuse me if I didn't ask that old arthritis woman for a receipt. Or that young mother needed the Similac to sign a damn piece of paper so I don't have to be up here in this box right now explaining to folks who never been in our neck of the woods how things truly are. And if a jury of my peers, you all, deem it right and true for me to walk out of here an upright and justified man, oh, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna do the same damn thing tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, until they got me laid out at Marge's funeral home and trucked me off to Mount Auburn.
You know, I didn't find it very viable myself.
Well, so Alan Sepinwall had a comment about this, which is you only need to turn one juror, right, in order to get jury nullification.
True. That's true.
And so
I know, but if you watch it, Chris, like everybody is laughing.
Sure.
Everybody is having a great time and smiling and slapping their knees in that scene. Nobody looks skeptical. Nobody looks annoyed or anything. So I don't know. That just like not that you know, Isaiah Whitlock didn't do a fabulous job acting that or whatever, but just, you know, that he turned the whole court just was, I don't know, not very believable to me.
I agree with you. If this is a nitpick for sure.
Yeah.
And this is why it's one of those things where they only have so much time.
Yeah.
Because you don't see Bond cross-examining Clay Davis.
Right.
So that would have been like he could probably get to spend days doing that.
Yes.
Right. And just like, here's everything that, you know, the interesting thing, of course, is that, you know, it's pretty unusual for a defendant to testify in a case.
Yeah.
Because if you testify, then that opens the opportunity for the prosecution to cross-examine, right? If you don't testify, then the prosecution can't call you, right, because of the Fifth Amendment. So the fact that he went up and then they didn't show that part is kind of interesting. That all said, it's all in service of Clay Davis is just going to weasel out of everything, and just to piss Ellie off is really all it comes down to.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
But you know, just one other point is that Clay Davis was answering way more than what was being asked.
Yeah,
which is generally also something that you would object to.
Yep.
Right. You're just not allowed to just say, tell us what you think. It's like, that's not, you know, it's not conjecture. It's vague, or there's something about the vagueness of a question. You're just not allowed to do that. So, or, you know, you can object to the answer that he's not responding to the question.
Yeah.
And the point is that, again, that's where Bond should have objected, but he didn't.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like, they did say that Isaiah Whitlock had to do those scenes like 10 or 12 times, and he just nailed it every single time, which is just incredible stuff. So, yeah.
And he does. And I mean, you know, in the end, the idea here is he shows himself to be the man of the people.
Exactly.
Right. And what happens? This is not what I just did not think this was going to happen. He is not guilty.
Yep.
He is not guilty, you know, and this is where we get the epigraph, whatever it was. They don't teach it in law school.
Right.
And we kind of find out more about the outcome through the Baltimore Sun, you know, Gus telling us, you know, they say someday you're going to have to explain all this to me, Gus. And I don't know I can't remember who said after watching that verdict come in, I feel very white.
Yeah. His name is Thomas McCarthy also, but I can't remember his character name.
So, yeah. It blew me away.
Yeah.
That was so opposite of a direction that I ever expected.
Yeah.
Like from 3 seasons ago
Mhm.
when I first started
Yep.
down the path of learning about the corrupt Clay Davis.
Yeah. I know, I hear
Wow. Wow.
I know it. So just a note that apparently Deirdre Lovejoy, who plays Rhonda, was very excited to have her line be the line on the title card.
Oh, really?
On the epigraph, which is funny.
Oh, she earned it.
But yeah. Oh, and this is where Gus is talking to Rebecca about the correction.
Yes,
Okay,
that's
yeah,
right.
okay.
Yes,
But
that's where the line begins.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, Gus's
Yeah.
comment about going to listen to some James Brown records or something.
Yes, yeah, listen to some James Brown
Yeah.
records. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna go on to Mama Kima.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so we have Greg's taken off of her triple homicide and assigned full time to the fake serial killer homeless murder case. And she has been put on digging through the victim backgrounds. And it's just tedious, overwhelming work. And part of what she has to do is she has to go and learn about these victims by going and talking to their families. And we follow her as she interviews a family about their child. And they are a nice family, and they talk about their son and how they don't have a lot of money, but they tried really hard to send their son through rehab a couple times. And then the last time they just decided they weren't going to send him through rehab. And then that was the time that they knew that he might die, but that they didn't realize that this would be maybe, a death by a serial killer, and that the biting and the sexual stuff, and we see her face, and she comes back and reports that, and that's when you see McNulty's face. He doesn't realize that this is a possible outcome, that what the toll is on the families when
Absolutely,
they find
that's right.
out that they learn that this is what happened to their, this is the thing way back when he was treating their bodies like this. I was just like, oh my God, this is so messed up.
Yeah.
And this is where Bunk is just like, are you proud of yourself that Kima had to do this? And she says it basically ruined her whole week to have to do this kind of work. I can't even imagine what it would be like to have to talk to families about that sort of terrible torture to their loved ones.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that there's it's a really important point to go back to when Freeman justifies it as well. And he says, the dead men don't care, which is true.
Yeah.
But then he says, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Which is not true.
That's not true.
Right? If it would have been one thing if this homeless man had died of an overdose, because it sounds like the family had already kind of resigned themselves that they can't save him, and they can't, and that his fate is just out there.
Yeah.
But the fact that it became this other thing, and it feels like there was, I don't know. We're parents of younger kids. I mean, just the notion that you can't protect them, right, would be a different kind of pain, right, a different,
absolutely.
And so, you're almost, so anyway, I think, and that's the part that really, I think, strikes home when you watch these two actors play the parents play talk about this. It's just a whole new level of grief that they probably had kind of already thought they were, they'd kind of already accepted.
Yep.
They'd moved on to the exception, and then it was a whole different level of grief that they had now had to go through again.
Yep.
And so this whole assumption that nobody cares about the dead men is not true.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
And that's where, and of course, as you correctly said, the Kima's face. And I was trying to figure out that, but that didn't lead her to want to have the sleepover with Elijah. That was
already in the works.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, she is trying to balance everything, but I think she already had the plan to take care of Elijah. And she asks McNulty where to get kids' furniture. He says IKEA.
Right.
Of course, he does not mention the assembly part. And we might remember from, is it season 1?
Yep. Where
he is assembling IKEA furniture and drinking some, maybe Jameson.
It was Jameson.
It was Jameson's. and struggling with it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think we had a little conversation about assembling IKEA furniture as well. But
Yep.
that's a stupid fucking little Allen wrench that
The
they
one
gave you.
Allen wrench
The one
to assemble
Allen wrench.
the Taj Mahal. Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, so terrible. Anyway, so yeah. And so we see her later, some scenes where she's trying to put it together. I think we have a couple scenes where she's trying to put it together.
Yep.
And then we see her again trying to put it together. And then we have another one where she calls McNulty, and he's at homicide, I think.
He's at the detail.
That
yeah,
he's at the
detail.
detail. And you hear her voice screaming at him, calling him an MFer. You didn't
Yep.
tell me about putting it together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so funny.
Oh,
She
yeah.
just stands up. She's in the middle of it, and the 4 panels fall off.
Yeah.
Oh, if you've been there, you've been there.
Yep, exactly.
Yes. But she's got Elijah there, and he must be asleep now because she has fallen asleep in a chair. And then later he is woken up. He cannot sleep. And so she takes him and she sits with him by a window, and it's a quiet moment. And they look out there, and you hear a siren go by. And she tells him to say goodnight to all of the people and the places. And they say goodnight, stars. And they say goodnight, Popo. And they say goodnight, fiends. Goodnight, hoppers. Goodnight, hustlers. Goodnight, scammers. Goodnight to everybody. Good night to one and all.
Mhm.
And that is the end.
Yep.
Let's see. Let's say goodnight to everybody. Good night, Moon. Who said it?
Good night, Moon.
Here we go. Good night, stars.
Good night, stars.
Good night, Popo.
Good night, Popos.
Good night, fiends.
Good night, fiends.
Good night, hoppers.
Good night, hoppers.
Good night, hustlers.
Good night, hustlers.
Good night, scammers.
Good night, scammers.
Good night to everybody.
Good night to everybody.
Good night to one and all.
Good night to one and all.
There we go.
Yep. So a note about that very last scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not know this beforehand, but I should have mentioned it before. But Elijah is actually Melanie. I'm forgetting her last name, but the woman actor who plays Cheryl. That's her real son.
Oh, that
and so
cute baby boy is her son.
Yeah,
Oh my
and so that was the son that she was pregnant with
Oh no.
during season 2.
You
So,
are not for real.
No. So there
oh,
you go.
he's darling.
Yeah, absolutely. So good job, Melanie. He is an adorable child.
He's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then that last scene was actually taken from Richard Price's book called Clockers.
Okay.
Which was actually at the request of David Simon. So David Simon, who tasked Richard Price with writing this episode, asked that this scene be included. So that was pretty
Okay.
neat. And then Alan Sepinwall has a really astute comment about it, which was, Kima identifies that Elijah is going to grow up in this world, at
Mhm.
least in some form. They're going to be connected
Sure.
to the world that she sees out her window.
Yep.
And then he connected it back to Gus's comment about this is our city.
Mhm.
It's not, and so she sees outside and says, by saying goodnight to all of the characters that you see out the window,
Mhm.
you are accepting this world. Whereas, he drew the contrast. If it had been Templeton, he would have drawn the shades and read Goodnight Moon as it was. And so,
Mhm.
I think there's a really wonderful little message in that. So, which I will get to in our life lesson. So anyway, I just love that. It's a great scene, and it really
is.
does.
Oh,
it
I
really
just
does wraps
love him
up a
sitting on her
terrible
lap.
episode otherwise.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God they ended on that.
Yep, exactly. So, okay, that it?
That's it.
Okay, let's get us out of this episode. But unfortunately, I do have some things. I have quite a few forgot to mention. So let me try to blaze through these as best I can. All right. So number one, Kate Sanford mentioned during the title sequence that they spent actually about 6 months, not obviously actively, but they spent about 6 months working on cutting the intro, which you it's just one of those things where you kind of like, holy crap,
Mhm.
someone spent that much. But of course, that makes sense. You're like, oh, yeah, that would take a long time. But you don't quite realize it, when you're watching it. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Mhm.
Another appearance of Generation Kill was on Holly's computer. So we mentioned that before. Also, Detective Barlow has a no words appearance. It was Freeman is just telling him that they have images and text and voice both, and he's just like, which I love Barlow. So anyway, we talked about Prometheus Bound. So we talked a little bit about Norris, just touched on Ed Norris, the person, not the character. So I looked into so Dominic West mentioned how Ed Norris was arrested and tried. So let me just give you a little bit of detail about this, because it does connect to what we talked about before with Rhonda. And she was saying like what every college student does or college graduate does to get their first starter home. So Norris was investigated by the U.S. Attorney of Maryland for abuse of a non-taxpayer funded expense account. So while looking for violations, it was discovered that Norris borrowed $9,000 from his father for a home purchase. Norris and his father signed gift letters stating that the money was a gift. It was discovered that Norris had returned the money to his father at a later date. At that point, the gift became a loan. Norris was then indicted for making a false statement on a mortgage application. So the very thing that Freeman said was the headshot.
Yeah.
Which it was. Now, in a plea agreement, the mortgage charge was dropped in exchange for a guilty plea of abusing the expense account, which Norris had denied. So he pleaded guilty and was actually sentenced to 6 months in federal prison. But despite the guilty plea, Norris has publicly maintained his innocence, claiming that the case was politically motivated and the guilty plea was forced because of his mortgage issue. So, in October 9th, 2006 newspaper article, Norris admitted to using the money from the accounts, but said that he paid it back in full before he left office to take the position of Maryland State Police Superintendent. So interesting stuff. But, when they talk about the headshot, it is about leverage and not really about that particular charge being especially egregious. But that is a guaranteed guilty, and therefore you can get guilty pleas for other stuff.
Okay.
So anyway, I guess that's it. And depending on how hard they want to go after the person. So, okay. That was that.
Okay.
And then, one last one.
Okay.
When Gus walks into the bar and meets Mello. By the way, did you understand? You understood the way that Mello was explaining it and how Scott's story didn't make any sense, or no?
Not exactly, no.
Okay.
Any elaboration you want to do of that, I will gladly take.
So the only thing that's important is that Scott's story was that this woman keeps getting arrested.
Yes.
Keeps using the sister's
name, yeah.
And essentially making her look like she's committing fraud.
Right.
So Mello says that you could do it once. They would figure it out that you're not who you say you are.
Yeah.
But that the second time,
eventually
they would, because you would have fingerprints, they would know, well, we've got these fingerprints on file. It's connected to this name. They would know that that you can use that excuse once and get away with it for a time, but then you would never get away with it again.
Okay.
So Scott's comment that she's done it 4 or 5 times.
Oh, because eventually that would be matched up with the other person's original.
Exactly.
Exactly. Okay.
And so the point
it
is,
would be flagged.
Right.
Something.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so you say, well, the first time, yes.
Got
the
it.
second time, no, that would not work. And so the Scott saying that she's done it 4 or 5 times, it's like, no, that doesn't actually make any sense. And just to go back, or actually, I'm going to touch on that in the life lessons.
Okay.
So anyway, in that bar, Richard Belzer is at the bar arguing about his tab and saying, you don't make a regular pay his tab, or so, I forget exactly what the comment was. That is that Richard Belzer played Detective Munch on Homicide. He also played Detective Munch on Law and Order and Law and Order Special Victims Unit, and I think a couple of other TV shows. So he, as the character Detective Munch, has been on like 7 different series. It is kind of hilarious. So
really,
yeah. So he was directly connected to David Simon in the Homicide show. So it's not like he was just coming here out of the blue.
Yeah.
But it is funny that he showed up as Detective Munch, just, one more series to be involved in. So that was pretty funny. And then, I think that was everything that I had for the stuff I forgot. Although there's quite a lot in the commentary, so I do recommend, as always, to go get the Blu-ray or the regular DVD and give it a listen. So Dominic West is unfortunately incredibly charming. So, all right, so let's get into our music and the rest of our categories. So when Rhonda and Jimmy are with Judge Phelan at the diner, the song playing is "Shake" by Sam Cooke, which I don't quite understand if there's any symbolism there. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, I mentioned, or I skeeted, whatever it is on Blue Sky.
Is there a name for what you do on Blue Sky?
I
didn't know
I
that.
thought there was. Anyway,
Okay.
I don't know if it's still. But in any case, Blake Fay is the art director or the composer. What is the person's name? The person that puts the music on.
Okay.
And so I just said, hey, I just really appreciate your work. I love your choices. And he responded with thanks.
Hey.
I thought that was crazy. So good job.
Nice.
So Blake, we love your stuff. So anyway, continuing on, the Ooh Ah song by Gem, Gem, is when Dookie is looking at the jobs in the paper. And
Okay.
not sure what the Ooh Ah song means.
Come on. Because he's dancing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's
Okay,
why-
there you go.
ooh,
Yeah, there you go.
ah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. The Dance Floor by Zap is when Bubbles working at the soup kitchen.
Okay.
Not sure what that's about.
Nobody knows.
Down Down by Maya Azucena is when Kima is building the Ikea furniture, and I think it's when
It's all falling
it's all
down.
falling down. Euro Trash by Group Loop Music is when Omar confronts Savino, which is like kind of outside a club, so I think that's where Euro Trash comes in.
Okay.
I Told You So by the Nighthawks. Remember the Nighthawks from the first episode of season 2?
Okay.
They're the band that plays at Dolores's.
Oh, okay.
So, so that's the song playing at the cop bar, and that's
okay.
I Told You So.
Okay.
By the way, so I get all these off of TuneFind, and I just copied them because hastily, and it's just pretty funny. Some of these at the cop bar, the paper editor walks in. That's where it is. Like they didn't even bother putting Gus's name in anyway. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's just hilarious. My Babe by Little Walter is then the second scene in the bar with Gus and Mello. I'm not sure what that quite means. On and On by Erykah Badu is when Kima is losing it on the IKEA furniture.
Okay.
So I guess that's
not even recognize America Badu. I love
yeah.
Erykah
On and
Badu.
on. Just that's how long it takes to do IKEA furniture.
Okay.
And then finally, Ayo by Boss Man is when Omar visits Michael, which I think is just Omar calling out Michael. So
Okay.
a lot of music this time.
Mhm.
So okay, killer cameos.
Oh God.
We'll edit
Oh,
that
no.
part out there.
You gotta keep that.
Okay, fine. Fair
no,
enough.
just kidding. I don't know.
Okay, I will.
I was not paying me.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I think you're emotional from the Clay Davis
I'm
thing.
so emotional for the Clay Davis thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who do you have?
I have the grieving father and mother.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What a. Of course.
I should have closed with them,
Of
but
course.
so Seymour Horowitz and Rosemary Noer were the two actors. So
Yes.
good job to them. I also liked Vincent, who was the guy tied up in the stash house. I liked him, but the grieving father and mother, they were great. Even though I don't even think the mother had any lines, and she was so good.
Oh, so good.
So okay, so that gets us to the second most exciting part, the Mr. Nugget's life lessons. You have anything?
I do.
Oh, okay, let's hear it.
It's just if all else fails, just have a great made up performance like Clay Davis. just act.
Okay.
Just some fabulous theater and you'll be fine. Sorry, that was me being
You're just so cynical.
Cynical. Apparently it works.
Yeah, sure.
Just, Prometheus some shit and you'll be okay. But no, for reals, listen, if you're going to fall down, I learned this from a friend in college. If you're going to trip and fall in front of some people, just roll around very big time, a couple times, just make a show out of it.
Okay.
That's what I say.
Make it more humorous?
Just make it more humorous,
Okay.
make it bigger, whatever you can do.
Sure. That's a good
make
one.
it a show.
Yeah, sure.
Might as well.
Yeah.
If you're down there.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
That's what people remember.
That's what people will remember.
Sure.
Exactly.
That's a good one.
That's my Miss Nugget life
Okay.
lesson.
Well, very good. Okay.
Go ahead, Chris.
Well, I did have something connected to that, but I will, as always, I start with the smaller ones. So, Clay Davis talking about, shit, you should be paying me for all the notoriety you're going to get. This is actually something that happens fairly regularly now in the days of social media, where someone will say, like, give me your product for free and I will put it on my influencer page and therefore you'll get money.
Okay.
Or, you'll get, sorry, not money from me, but you'll get exposure.
Yes.
That is one of the biggest telltales that somebody is not worth.
Is not worth it.
Yeah. So that's an
Agree.
important one. Don't ever, if someone ever says that, run the other way.
Yes.
Okay. I've said this one before, but I have an addendum. So how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yes. Gus,
when he talks about if he's going to lie about a correction, which is an understandable mistake. This is the key. You're going to stand on a correction that it happens to everybody. Then then it affects people's perception of you. And this is the important thing, is that if you don't heed this rule, what then happens is that everything else now has this new lens on it.
Right.
So not only does he not trust him about the correction, but it doesn't stop there.
Right.
Now he's looking at every story that Templeton is doing and saying, now I can't trust you at all.
That thing.
So
yeah,
just an important one that sometimes sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and say, I fucked up. And that, as we talked about before,
100%.
Sometimes you gain ground. Now you're not only you get past this, but now you're honorable.
Yep,
right? So
exactly.
So there's that. And then actually connected to it is Whiting and Klebanow by essentially setting aside their editorial standards. They are saying that they are now they're doing something for some other reason. It is no longer about editorial standards.
Sensationalism.
I mean, it is that, but it's because they are seeing they're doing it for the money. Basically, they're doing it for the money, which just gives me the opportunity to say, Mr. Whiting, we know what you are, sir. Now we're just negotiating over the price. I don't know if you've ever heard that before.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who haven't, at least
yeah.
There's a great story. It's apocryphal, but basically it's attributed to Winston Churchill. And I'm sorry, I just love the story. Churchill's at dinner. There's a well-to-do woman there, says, Madam, would you sleep with me for $10 million? And she says, oh, I don't know, maybe. And then he says, well, would you sleep with me for $10? And she's like, no, what kind of woman do you think I am? And he says, well, we know what you are, madam. Now we're just negotiating over the price, which it's a mean thing to say about a woman. But the point is that everybody's got a price.
Right.
And you know what? Now I think about it, I probably told that story before. Anyway, I love
don't know
it.
if he's told it here.
So, but now like Whiting, there's a price that you're willing to pay for your editorial principles. And now it's just a negotiation. Yep. And you'll just keep cutting the price and cutting the price and cutting the price until some point it's just, you have to, you're not there. It's not worth anything anymore.
Exactly.
So, all right. Sorry, that sidetrack, but for the story, I love that story. Okay. Then finally, I have two more. And by two, I mean three. Try to avoid, so Whiting, when Gus is talking about the problems with Scott's story, Whiting is trying to justify it by saying he's an essayist. And Gus gives him this look, which I love. He looks at him like, I get it, what you're telling. I understand this already. You don't have to explain this to me. And the reason I bring this up is because I think one of the best things skills that you can learn is to try to avoid what I call the first order response. So Whiting's response is not valuable at all. Like, you're writing as an essayist is like, okay, fine. And then what?
I
right?
know. That's
right?
true. Yeah. I was like, essayist. Yes. And
exactly. Yeah. So, but if you went a step further and said, now I don't know what that next step would be, but the point is that his first response, he was trying to get it as like, it's just generally not enough, especially for more difficult conversations. You want to get to what's the next thing? What's the bigger principle here?
Yeah.
And Gus is coming at it from a principled stance, and Whiting is coming at it from a whatever stance. And so you got to try to get past that first order and to really get into the meat of where, where this friction lies and how do you get past it. So anyway, so that was the second one. And then, okay, these next two, let's see which one. No, I'm going to finish with a good one. So Mr. Bond, I forget, prosecutor Bond. Anyway, district attorney Bond. It's not enough to have the facts on your side. Unfortunately, which connects to what you had said.
Yeah.
But we live in this world now where we still like to think the facts matter, and they do. Being truthful and having verifiable information is critical to just navigating the world. But there are times when facts are not the most important thing. You have to have the emotional component and, whatever else.
Yeah.
And so I felt like that's an important thing, is that sometimes you have to know going in, oh, it's not just going to be facts that are going to make the difference here. I've got to have everything. Or I've got to have more to it.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't just have a good book. You have to have a beautifully illustrated book, which Ellie does as well.
Emotional appeal.
And there you go. So there you go.
Yes.
And Ellie handles these really, fact-based subject matter.
Yes.
Right. And yet she does it in a very compelling, emotionally interesting way that gets people to connect with it.
I try to. Yeah. Children.
Quite successfully.
Yes. And adults.
So, yes.
So
and then finally, I liked Gus's comment and Kima's response as well. Have pride in your place in the world, right?
Indeed.
Whether it's your hometown, whether it's the place you work, these are all ideals to have. Obviously, it doesn't always work this way, but when you find a place of pride, that can have immeasurable value. So do try to find those things. And, if you don't have pride, maybe there's something that you can do to try to affect that. And that's what I feel like, is missing, is that Templeton he's telling these stories with no interest in bettering it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And whereas Gus is like, there was supposed to be this larger effort intended at trying to fix something, right?
Yeah.
With the schools, but now with homelessness. And he's seeing that that's not it. So try to find that pride, something that makes you proud of where you live or where you work or what you do. And, and really try to hold on, do something to develop that.
This is not Beirut, guys.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Baltimore is not Beirut. So, I mean, Beirut taking, some shrapnel there, which is unfortunate.
Sure is. Oh, my goodness.
Okay. Well, anyway, so there you go. So those are my life lessons. How well did the episode hold up? Unfortunately, pretty well.
Pretty well. Holy crap.
People getting away with all kinds of bullshit.
Kinds of bullshit.
All right. Well, we do have one prediction already that you threw on about the Fletcher thing. Let me just double check, go back to what you had before.
Okay.
So that you don't, because I was like, oh man, I kept making you like kind of dig out some stuff. And so I want to make sure we get rid of that. Yeah, sorry about that.
Damn.
So
throw all the Clay Davis stuff out now.
Exactly. So we still have Dookie's going to go find Prez. So that's still out there. So you got that one. Okay, we don't have to say that Templeton's going to come up with something else. So that's because he's already done that at least once.
Right, exactly.
But you got Bubbles with his sister. So
I think now Gus is going to call Templeton on his shit.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
I
think at this point he's going to, now that he's talked to Mello, I think he's going to be like, okay, look, something smells fishy.
Yep.
And it's you.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
So I got that.
And then let me just get these other ones out of the way so you don't have to worry about those.
Okay.
So we'll get closer to the photo. Oh, you already got that one, right?
Yep.
No. So the last one, no, I think, Bunk is going to find Partlow's DNA. So we did not have a resolution on that one. Templeton will make, okay, you got that one already. Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
All right, so there you go. So anything else for you?
Can I erase the Bunk Partlow DNA one? I don't think that's going to happen.
No?
Okay. No, let's keep it. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
Listener, I did not say anything.
Okay.
You heard.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. No, okay. All right. We can keep it. We can keep it. New prediction. I think Marlo and Snoop are going to help. So wait. What did I just say? Partlow and Snoop. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
God. Sorry, this, guys, is 10:16 p.m. The later we record, the less my brain works.
Yep.
Partlow and Snoop are going to help Marlo prepare for a confrontation with Omar. Okay. I think Freeman maybe gets one step closer on decoding the clocks.
Okay.
I don't know if I have anything else for you.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what Carcetti is going to do about the money. I don't know where this money is going to come from. He's not going to lay off teachers, and they're not going to have enough money to do everything that that
they
need to do
yeah.
for this
Yeah.
for this serial killer. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they figure it out before they run dry, but I'm not sure what's going to happen with that.
Okay.
I'm lost on that one.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to figure. I mean it's almost like ancillary because if they get the Marlowe case,
Yeah.
then before the money becomes an issue. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe.
yeah. Okay. Well, look, I mean, it's all kind of coming to a head, really, because you
Yeah.
don't really need to think about Davis anymore.
Right.
The bubble stuff it just feels like is going to keep going on, but I don't know that
Yeah.
there's anything specific. Oh, you already got the one about the connection to Sherrod.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's,
I can't think of any
yeah.
other.
Okay. And
threads.
you've already got an Omar comment. So I think you pretty much got it all
Okay.
covered. So, okay. Good job, Ellie. I know this was this might have been your toughest one. I don't know.
my
I felt like
God.
you hated this one more. Like some of the ones in season 4 were really rough, but
Oof.
like there was still something like redeeming
know.
about him. This is just like,
This
I
one,
hate everything.
This one is like
This show sucks.
I don't know why this one was so rough. Sorry, everybody.
No.
Sorry.
Because you had this guy, you thought you had him like the noose wrapped around him and he slithered out.
This one was just so much waiting.
Yeah.
So much waiting for
Yeah.
such an unsatisfying ending.
Yeah.
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 That's why.
No, I hear you.
Okay.
Okay. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back next week. And sorry, I'll just pull back the curtain a little bit. Like we were delayed on getting this recorded, so this will probably go out on Monday, and we'll be back the following week. But it's kind of like we're 2 episodes over 3 weeks. So anyway, thank you for your patience, everybody. We will try to get this out as soon as we can, and then we'll be back the following Monday-ish, with season 5, episode 8. 3 left, Ellie. 3.
Oof, oh my God.
Season 5, episode 8, clarifications. But until then, Ellie, as always, you are so charming. God damn it. All right. Thanks so much for everything. Thanks for a good
Chris.
episode. All right. And we will see you all next week.
Okay. Bye.
The Wired and Rewired podcast is Ellie Peterson and me, Chris Aronchek. Our theme song is Nice Vibes by Neon Beach. Want to holler at us? You can email us at wiredandrewired@gmail.com or hit us on the burner at 240-488-0060 to leave us a voicemail. We're Wired and Rewired on all the socials. And of course, if you like the show, please give us a rating and review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. It helps other Wire fans discover the show. And until next time...
Rodney, you can't press a regular for his whole tab. It just isn't done.